Been promising this for almost telling them how long now, but I'm going to do my best to tell my story. I'm going to do my best to keep on track. I'm going to try to sum it up where it won't be so long. I just want you to have some understanding, and my ultimate goal with this is to touch somebody. I just want to say before I get started that if you're struggling with addiction, or if you need some help, you'll reach out to me through my email at TJT Recovery Power. I'll do everything in my power to make sure that I get you in treatment somewhere if this is what you're interested in doing. If you need to talk, shoot me a number in there, I'll call you. So, 42 years old. I was born in Carrollton, Georgia. My mom and dad were very young. I think my mom was 15, my dad was 18 when I was born. And my mom ended up marrying another man, and he ultimately ended up being my father. Taught me a lot about life, but he joined the military and we moved away. And it was kind of exciting for me because I was a kid. I was just excited about going. But we moved to Texas, and when I got there, I was like, man, I don't know nobody out here. My family's not here. Just didn't know how to feel, so I just remember loving airplanes, and I started playing soccer, and my dad was never at home. My mother covered for me a lot when I was a kid, just so that I wouldn't be in trouble with my dad. But we moved several different times while we were in Texas. I think the second time we moved, this is the first time that I actually remember like being in some trouble. We were living in the public, waiting on base housing, and I had met a black guy and his sister. They lived right next door to me. We ended up becoming good friends, and we lived right behind a golf course. So we'd go collect all lost golf balls and just collect them. We were just kids. And one day, I don't know what prompted him to do this, but he busted a window out in the back of our apartment complex. Well, I had been watching Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee with my dad all weekend, so I kicked one of them out. Well, I don't know how many windows we busted out, but it was like a whole lot. Well, there was a brick wall that separated the apartment complex from the golf course, and one golfer ran around and blocked this in, and another golfer ran around and blocked that in, and I ran right in between his legs. So I ran all the way home. Well, they seen where I went. So I came in, locked the door, ran in my bedroom, locked the door, looking out the blinds, and I seen the man. I heard him knock on the door, and I was like, oh my goodness. Well, before my dad even went and looked at the windows, he wore my butt out. Went and looked at him and come back and wore my butt out again. And then the manager of the apartment complex told my dad that it wasn't going to cost us anything. He just wanted him to do the labor of taking all the old glass out and putting the new windows in. So he told me, Tony, every day that I got to come in from work and go back to work because you busted however many windows. I mean, this was 300 or 400 or 500 windows that we busted out of this place. I'm going to wear your butt out. So he did for I don't know how long, weeks, a couple, 3 probably. So then I think that this ended up developing in my mind that I couldn't stand this dude. This dude is not my dad. How could he even think about doing something like that? But I was just a kid. So moving forward, we ended up getting orders to California. We moved to San Bernardino, and I was very excited. You know, everybody wants to go to California. So we get there, and we rented from some people waiting on the base housing. And the second time I get in trouble, my dad had a buddy that worked at Scripto, and he got all the rejected lighters, pens, mechanical pencils, markers, So we got boxes of these things, lighters. I'm talking about thousands of them. Well, he had bought me a pellet gun while he was in Korea, and it looked like an M16. So me and my buddy Ben were setting these lighters up on a propane tank in our yard and shooting with his pellet gun at about 2 o'clock in the morning. Luckily, my dad was on a flight at the time, and police drove by and seen the flash. So he come down the sidewalk. He was like, "Hey, what are y'all doing?" I'm like, "We're just shooting those lighters." And he's like, "Well, do you know what you're shooting them off of?" And I was just a kid. I didn't know. So he said, "I need you to go get your parents." So I went over my mom up. And this was something that she couldn't cover for me this time. And I got grounded, of course. And, you know, I did so much. I can tell you, I could take all night and tell you the stories of the things that I did while we were out there. But one other instance, you know, this started working even more in my mind. The more I got in trouble, the more I got punished, the more I didn't like him. I got mad one day. We had a brown and white Toyota minivans. You remember the ones that kind of like a refrigerator with a slanted front? I took a bottle of mustard and squirted it all over the white on the van because I was mad at him. Swear to God, I didn't do it. I never got blamed for it. They kind of sensed maybe that I did, but they ended up calling the military police out there and did a little whatever. We lived in, I think this is before we went to base housing. We moved into some apartments. I'll never forget the name of the road. It was Tippecanoe. We moved in these apartments and always had a great Christmas. I had a good childhood. My parents loved me a lot. Did everything they could to teach me right. But I probably had 10 bikes stolen. While every time I got a bike, it got stolen out there. So I remember I had a Robomax, nice bike. It got stolen. I was mad, and I went inside. I was pouting, and I heard a knock on the door. I was like, I ain't not answering that. But God seen fit to send the pastor of our church to our door, knock on our door. And this is when my parents' life began to change. My dad, my mom ultimately got saved. We started attending the Highland Baptist Temple in Highland, California. And, you know, I was so young, I just wanted to follow my dad. I wanted to be as smart as him. I wanted to be just like him. So I claimed that I had got saved in church one Sunday. You know, they were alcoholics. They drank all the time, and then this is all I ever knew. And then all of a sudden, all that was out the window. All that was done. You know, no more cussing, no more fighting and screaming, yelling, no more drinking. Things totally changed in my life. So, as a kid, I didn't understand. I didn't know what was going on. I just knew things had changed. So we stayed out there about 5 or 6 years. Had a great time. Went to Disneyland, been to Rodeo Drive, been at Hollywood, Universal Studios, Knott's Berry Farm, went all over the place out there. So my dad got out of the Air Force and we moved back to Georgia. Went back to where my family's from in Whitesburg in Carroll County, Georgia. And hooked up with an old friend of mine. You know, we were teenagers down 15, and we ended up breaking into a store. And there was a gun in the bag of money that we stole out of the store, and ultimately we got charged with a robbery, and I got a big fine, got sentenced to do a little time. So this started on my criminal path. You know, now I'm very rebellious. I definitely don't like my dad now. I couldn't do absolutely nothing. I couldn't even talk on the telephone. I was in so much trouble. So, juvenile probation, messed up several different times. I got caught with a can of Skull at school. I got sent to boot camp for 90 days. I actually went to 3 juvenile boot camps for violating that probation for simple things. Started smoking marijuana with a buddy of mine named Chris, and I can't tell you because I don't really remember, but ultimately I ended up getting involved in cocaine. I started snorting cocaine, and somebody, I can't remember who it was, but I remember him telling me that it was freebasing cocaine. I'm like, dude, what is that? He said, dude, you think cocaine's good? Wait till you try this. So it was crack, so I started smoking crack, and I went back to powder cocaine, ended up finding a needle. I'm shooting cocaine now. So everybody that has ever been involved with it knows what comes along with it. I was stealing everything that wasn't tied down. I stole from my family. I stole from people, whoever. It didn't even matter. If I could get something out of it, I took it. I started framing, and I was making decent money being the age that I was. And you know, we got paid on a Friday, and Monday morning I didn't have any money. It got to the point where I had to sleep at the jobs, the houses that we were building. I'd have to sleep there because I didn't have any. I had somewhere to go if I would have stopped, but I chose to do what I was doing, and if it consisted of me going home and having to stop or doing what I was doing and keeping on, that's what I was going to do. So I kept on. Got involved in crank a little bit. You know, it wasn't just really wasn't my thing. I was in love with the cocaine. So come up, I guess, 19 years old. I'd accumulated a numerous amount of charges: theft by taking motor vehicle. I can't even tell you every felony fleeing and eluding through a couple counties. You know, I stole a truck and took them on a high-speed chase. Ended up flipping the truck over. Got out from the police and ran. They hit me with a car, knocked me over in the ditch. So this is what started me opening the prison door. I got several breaks. I got sentenced to a 10 to 6 months. I went to boot camp. Did several, probably years before this in the county jail. But it had got to where, okay, this is enough. According to the Carroll County court system, I got sentenced to, I got in some trouble and I got sentenced to drug court. Okay, this was in 99, something like that. I got out, you know, I'm just trying to beat the system now. Whatever I can do to pass the drug test so I can keep getting high. But I was kind of scared because the folks had told me, if you mess this up, we're taking you back to court, we're going to sentence you on your real charges, and you're going to go to prison. So, really, I can't even remember what happened, but I ended up going to jail. I think I might have caught one or two charges. Went to court, and they gave me 8 years. So here I go. I'm going to prison now. I'm 20 years old. I go to the worst prison in the state of Georgia at the time, Calhoun State Prison. Let me back up. I went to Gwinnett County Camp. I stayed there for 13 months. Couldn't find an address to parole, so my counselor got in touch with the parole board, sent me to a transitional center. It's a 6-month program. I got down there, did 5 months. And I'll tell you this story. I did 5 months in the transition center, got a month to go. I was with this woman that claimed that she hadn't been in touch with this one individual guy for years. Well, I got to go home on Sunday for 12 hours, so I went home and I knew what was going on, so I had my brother get in touch with that guy so we would go over there. Long story short, we get there and I find sheets that I know belong to her. Just things that she liked all in this hotel room, so I took it upon myself to take everything that he had, and it was time to go back to the transitional center. So now I'm geeked up on meth, and I went back and forth from Carrollton to LaGrange, Georgia about 6 times that night, spent every penny of money I had on gas. I was scared to death. I'm supposed to be back at 8, it's 12 o'clock, 12:30 at night now. My mom's texting me, calling me, telling me, well, you better just get back to that place, they just want you back. So when I finally built up enough courage to go, we passed Troup County Sheriff. They jumped the median, got behind us, pulled us over, and I said, dude, I know why you pulled us over. You know why you pulled us over. So they end up getting 2 police cars behind us, 2 police cars in front of us, and they escorted me back to the transition center. So I get there, and I go in, and I had some meth in a piece of aluminum foil, and I had a pen that I had been smoking it out of behind my ear. I made it all the way in this place with it. Put me in I can't remember what it's just a cell, what they used to call a quiet room, I think. And ultimately, I went back to prison. So I go to Dooley State. I did 72 days there, and I made parole. Against my father's will, my mom went behind his back and set everything up with the parole officer, put me on an ankle monitor, and I went home. I think I hit the ground running. Dope was totally different back then. You know, you had to do a little bit to get 10 times the high. So I'm way out of my mind. You know, I'm going to the parole office to do an assessment with a doctor, and he said, look, man, I don't know what you're doing on that monitor. He said, but you got 140 violations in one day, 124-hour period. He said, I know what you're doing. If you don't stop them, I'll send you back. He said, but today you're going to do community service here. And I hadn't slept in like days, 7 or 8. Starving to death, I ate nothing. So I had to plant flowers and wash windows and vacuum the carpet. Well, ultimately I was sweeping the parking lot with a push broom. I was so tired, and it was so hot outside, I just propped up on the wall and put my hands on the broom and put my head down and fell asleep standing up outside the parole office. So he was like, hey man, what are you doing? I was like, I was just taking a break. He said, it looked like you were sleeping to me. I was like, man, I'm about to starve to death. I said, can I go get something to eat? He said, if you'll go clean my office, you can go. So I went in there, and he gave me a little power nap, so I got a little energy now. You know, I'm kind of bouncing around, looking around on his desk, and I seen my name on some paperwork that said about me going to Wigworth Parole Detention Center for 6 months. I was like, no, we can't do this, I'm going to leave. So I called the lady I was with, she come pick me up, and we left. And I wasn't planning on going back. So I went to Burger King, he called me, he's like, hey, man, where you at? And I was like, oh, I just went to get something to eat. And he was like, well, you need to come back and finish, because you still got to do this assessment with this doctor. And I was like, I'm just going to be honest with you, man, I seen that paperwork on your desk. You talking about sending me to Whitworth. He was like, it didn't even have your name on it, man. Why if you just send you to Whitworth? If I was going to send you to Whitworth, I'd have been sent you. So I was brave enough to go back, got back, and I go upstairs to have an assessment with this doctor, and I was falling asleep, and he was pushing my head up with his finger, asking me, I don't even know what this man was asking me. I was just telling him whatever. I was so tired. So I quit reporting. Now I got a warrant for parole, so now I don't care. Geeked up, been up days on end. So what became to me going back to prison, I went to see a friend of mine in Temple, and got out there, and we ended up getting stuck out there. So I don't know what happened, but somewhere along the line, the police got called. I was asleep outside in a car, along with this girl that I was with, and I woke up in the police report, and I was like, oh my goodness, what's going on? So get out of the car, and asked what my name was, said we got stuck out here. I was like, yeah, you know, I said, if it's that big a deal, you know, I'll just leave. He's like, hold on a minute, you know, what's your name? And I gave him a fake name, and he was patting me down, and he grabbed my wallet. Well, I slipped my ID out of the wallet while he was getting the wallet, and I wrapped it up in a bandana, and I put it on the back of the car. And I guess one of them had seen me do it, so when they got it, ran my name, I heard them say that I had 6 outstanding warrants. So when they tried to get me, I took off. I ended up beating them, getting in the woods. I found a creek. So I took my shoes off, took my clothes off, and stuffed it down my shoes and tied it around my neck and got down in the creek. And I was sitting with my shoes floating right in front of me, my clothes, and dogs, helicopters, barking, police everywhere. I don't know, for probably 5 hours. Well, they calmed down, and I heard a train. So I thought, all right, I gotta go. So I get up, put my shoes on, put my clothes on, take off running, and end up losing one of my shoes. Well, I'm so paranoid, my adrenaline's pumping so bad, I look behind me and think I see the cops. So I didn't even stop for my shoe, I just kept on running. Well, I found one of those cut-out toilet rugs that go up on your toilet and tied it around my foot so I wouldn't cut my foot. And I missed the train. I was like, man. So I just took a ride. I don't really know, at that time I didn't know much about them, so I didn't really know where I was. So I took a ride and walked down the railroad tracks, and I ended up coming up on this little plant that had these big-ass schools. I don't know what they did. But I was so tired, it was so hot. I just sat down on the back of this truck, and I leaned back. I was going to lean back in the bed of the truck, and I hit my head on something. I turned around, and it was a 12-pack of BK Coolers iced tea, and I was about to thirst to death. So I started drinking them, and I was like, man, I need a cigarette. I want to face some butts in this ashtray in this truck. So I opened the door up, and there was a whole carton of Salem's in the floor. My goodness. So got me a cigarette, started smoking, and I looked over, and the keys were in the ignition. I said, oh my God, I'm gone. So I crunked the truck up, and Lord behold, right across the street at that time was the Temple Police Department. I'm talking about, I could have threw a rock and hit it. So I pulled out, stayed through Harrison County, come back around, and I wanted to go see what was going on with her. I knew if our car was at her parents', then she had got away. Well, if I wouldn't have done that, I'd have been fine. Well, I looped all the way around, a long way around to go back, told my mom was to hide this truck, and about 3 miles before I got there, I passed the sheriff. I was reaching down the floorboard to get this rag to put on my head, and I crossed the center line and hit him. And he went out of sight. I never hit his brakes, never seen him turn around. And I got to a stop sign, and I just happened to look up, and he was right there on me. I was like, oh my goodness. So this is when I took him around a high-speed chase, you know, right there. My mom and brothers were sitting on the porch when I passed by. The police were chasing me, so I was on a dirt road trying to fish him out, dust him out, and nothing was working. He was steady banging the truck. And right there at the last little go-round, going up the hill, so I thought if I could put it in neutral and let it roll and jump out the truck come back and hit him, I could get away. Well, I was going too fast. The truck jumped the hill, jumped the daggone bank, flipped over on his top, sliding on the road. This is when I cut back up, going the other way. The cop hit me with the car, knocked me over in the ditch, so I ran back the other way up our neighbor's driveway, and they got these big construction rocks. And like I say, I only had one shoe on, so he got it. I hadn't been out of jail, I hadn't been out of prison but about 19 days. So I go back to jail, parole officer come up there, I got all these new charges, and they send me back to prison. So I go to, this is when I go to Calhoun State Prison. In 2006, this was absolutely the worst prison in the state of Georgia. People dropping dead every day. Something horrible happened in there every single day. And I'm not going to elaborate on the things that I've seen. You know, a lot of stories that you hear about prison, I can say are true, but all the raping, so, you know, I heard about it happen, never got to witness anything like that, but I've seen some absolute people get their life taken from them under a blade. I got in several fights, stabbed a couple people myself, got cut a couple times. I never really got stabbed. Luckily, I caught them when they was coming. I was able to back off. I just kind of got scratched over some bull crap that I bought some weed from a guy on the front. Promised him the money was coming. He sent me a note. He was in another dorm. He sent me a note and told me, you know, this is not a hood rat, man. This is my wife. So please throw this address away when you send the money. So I told him I sent the money. I can't get in touch with this girl I'm with. So I'm tripping out now. I've done had the letter for 2 days. Well, a buddy of mine, I had given him the note to take it to a buddy of mine in another dorm that had a telephone. So he would call and get this money sent. Well, he misunderstood what I said and took the note back to the guy I got the weed from. So this is the one time in prison that I thought I was fixing to die this day. This guy, I can't remember his name, but he'd been there for 19 years. If you wanted something, that's who you went to. And he liked it. I could go get anything I wanted from him. Well, this day, when he got that note, when I told him I done threw it away, he was in another dorm at my fence, going in my dorm, hollering, "Let me get you, white boy." You know, he telling me, this is the day it's going to happen today. So he had 2 of his buddies with him, and they came in and he walked by me. And I'm thinking in my head, I got to do something now. If I don't, I'm never going to have a chance. So I hit him and we kind of fought for a minute. I never seen no knife. The buddies never jumped in, so we stopped. I guess he really seemed that he couldn't get me like he thought he was going to. And the police come in there blowing a whistle, and, you know, what are y'all doing in here? He ended up making it right though. Got in touch with the lady, she sent the money. A buddy of mine heard about what was going on, so he had his grandpa send the money. Well, he had an extra 50 bucks. So I went to the yard and they was out there, you know, I was kind of watching them, make sure, you know, they weren't going to jump on me or whatever. And he said, "Tony, come here, let me holler at you." I was like, "All right, man, don't pull nothing crazy now. I'm trying to keep it real, man." So I went over there and talked to him, and he gave me another 50. He said, "Man, I got $100 from you. You didn't owe me but 50. So me and this guy ended up being okay. I ended up doing 12 months in population. I was in the store line there. You don't just go to the store. You go to the store when you get a call out. Call out, go to the store. I'm happy. I'm going to the store. I'm standing in the store line. And I keep hearing my name for me to go back to the dorm. I'm like, man, I'm not going to go back to the dorm until I get my stuff. And I ain't had no food. I'm about to starve. So they came up there. He's like, "Where's Holloway?" I was like, "I'm not here." And he was like, "Man, you need to go back to the dorm." I was like, "Man, I'm going to get my stuff." So they pretty much muscled me on back down there. So I get down there, and there's people in there, suits and ties, women in dresses. I'm probably about 15 of them. "You know, what's going on here?" You know, "Man, where's your bed?" I said, "I'm 63. He said, "You assigned to bed 5. I said, "Well, I was told when I came in here to fight for bed 5 or go find me a bed." So I found me a bed. He said, "Well, go pack your stuff. You go into the hole." I was like, "Whatever, man." So I go packing my stuff and going up the sidewalk and stuff, tied up in the sheet. And they divert me over to the mental health area that has all the windows blacked out in black construction paper. Got me in there, set me down. "We're with the drug unit for the Department of Corrections. We want to know what's going on in that dorm. We found 5 pounds of marijuana in there, needles, missing this." I said, "Man, I don't know what you're talking about." Well, I had a piece of paper. I can't even remember exactly what it was that I was doing. There's nothing to do in there. And I can't remember what it was, but it had a bunch of numbers on one side, a bunch of numbers on the other side. And they thought I had something going on. I had no idea. But they take me to the hole, not because I was in the wrong bed, because of that sheet of paper I had. So 19 months later, I'm still in that hole. The warden tells me every time they come around that he can't let me out of the hole because he didn't put me in there. This is his prison, so I'm acting real dumb. I'm talking about butt naked every time they come around, just acting crazy, squirting baby oil everywhere, doing anything I can to get out of the hole. So Halloween morning of 2008, I went to Rutledge State Prison in Columbus, Georgia. So, you know, I'm expecting, don't know what to expect. Get there, walk out from ID onto the balcony where medical is, and it looks like a college campus. And I was like, "Oh my God, this might be something that I can deal with," you know. So, ended up being the sweetest state prison that I'd ever been to in my life. I ended up doing 4.5 years at that prison. I really got into my body and into, couldn't really lift no weights because there wasn't none there. There was a mail room outside the prison that had a gym in it. During the recession, they couldn't afford to pay the lease on the house, so they moved the mail room and the weights back in the prison in 2 racquetball cages they had in the back. They had gates and locks on them. Well, I got a job with the mental health coach. I wasn't mental health, but the coach liked me. He got me a job down there. So on the out count during lunch, he put me on the out count and he let me slip in there for about 45 minutes, 3 or 4 times a week. So I really got into it then. Reading every magazine, reading every book, reading everything that I absolutely could to find out everything that I could do about getting better. I got a job in the kitchen. And I just want to say this. Them people hated me so bad when they fired me out of that kitchen. They told me the food costs went up when I came to that kitchen. I ate everything that I could absolutely get my hands on. There's no protein powder in prison, so I'm going to tell you about this, and I'm finna wrap it up, y'all. Getting close, getting close. I had read in a magazine that if you couldn't get any protein powder, if you drank powdered milk, you know, it would do the same difference. So I had this old man, I can't remember his name, wish I could. He was an old man, done did about 20 years. So I started drinking this powdered milk, and I'm talking about, oh my God, it was so bad that I had to hold my nose and hold my breath and kill it. And when I tell you that it was some of the most nastiest farts that I had ever smelled in my life, oh my God, and it wouldn't be nothing but just, and I'd run him out of there. I'd wake up in the middle of the night, he'd be sitting in the hall. We didn't have locks on our doors down there. Oh my, he ended up moving out of the room because of, well, I told my buddy that was getting me this, I said, I want the package. Bring me the package. This stuff is coming in. So I get it. He ain't gonna say nothing about no powdered milk on it. It was a baker's mix. Lord knows, whatever it was used for, I was killing myself with it. But I was at the point to where I was willing to do anything to get better. Ultimately, I met probably the smartest man that I'd ever met in my life. Try not to get upset about it, but very good man. I mean, his morals and integrity and just everything about him was something that I wanted to be. His name's Mark McKenna. I don't care. I'm gonna let you know who he is. I'm not gonna tell you his story, but to this day he's still in prison. He's done 25, 26, 27 years. I started running with him. I was on the maintenance detail at Rugs. Anybody ever goes to prison, if you get the maintenance job, this is the job you want. Well, I gave it up to go get my GED. Mark begged me. So I quit the job and got my GED, and this is how me and Mark started our relationship. I started running with him, and I was like, man, I ain't trying to do a whole lot of running. I'm trying to get big. Well, I weighed about 180 pounds at this time. Probably 25 pounds later, I stopped running. I ran with this man. We stopped counting at 900 something miles we ran together. I mean, we probably ran 12, 13, 1,500 miles. We hit the track, we ran 5. On Veterans Day of 2009, we ran 11 miles in an hour and 29 minutes. I'll never forget the day. Very good man. You know, I didn't have hardly any money coming in. He made sure that I had food. He made sure that I had everything I needed. And this was just because he cared. He believed in the Lord Jesus Christ. We talked a lot. You know, this man took a typing class on paper and aced it. He got several degrees while he was in. I wish the best for him. Hope that the parole board grant him some mercy and let him come home. But I had got in some trouble. I got caught on the telephone. This was in 2000 and I got out in 2011. This was late 2010 during the playoffs. Green Bay was playing somebody and they were destroying. If anybody that knows me knows Green Bay's my absolute favorite team in the whole world, besides the Oregon Ducks. And I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and go to bed. I mean, it's just over with. So I went on down there and put my headphones on, lay down, sleep. I wake up to the police banging on my bed. I thought it was somebody messing around. And there was about 6 police in my room. I'm like, oh man. He's like, go on and get up, Holloway. I said, where you want me to go? He's like, just go on outside. So they shut the door, and the hallways met this way, and there was a gap on the door about like this. So I went in my buddy's room and lay down on the floor. I could see where I kept my phone. And they was in there for 45 minutes and beat all the way around. Finally, they come across. I said, why don't you tell me what that is? I've been locked up 120 months. I have no clue what that is. A radio? So here I go to the hole. Now, mind you, I get out April the 17th of 2011. This is December of 2010. So I don't even care if I stay the whole rest of the time up there. I did 79, 72 days, something like that. Call my name, I get packed my stuff. Now, I've been in the dorm with Mark for years now. They send me to J building. Mark's in K, I'm in J. I'm in the Thunderdome, I'm in the disciplinary dorm. And get over there, but the prior year, this guy had beat me for $50 on the Super Bowl, I bet it. I want my money back. So Green Bay and Pittsburgh played this year. Everybody remembers Green Bay beat them. He bet me the $50. Now, I gave him some good money. Food, chips, drinks, Coca-Colas, Honey Bun, all that good stuff. Man, paid me some chain gang cosmetics, grease, hair grease, and shaving cream while I was mad. I was ready to fight him, but I didn't because I was feeling to go home. So, one of my son's mother, we had been talking for a couple of years at that time, and you know, I was calling her every day. I was so excited, man. You know, but it was just like almost like that. You know, when after December I got a hold, just it was bam, it was there. It was time to go, And remember I told Mark, I called him on the sidewalk, come back and chow one day. He was waiting on me because he knew I was getting ready to go. And I told him I loved him. Told him I'd never forget him. And I got out on a Sunday. Sunday morning I woke up and Sarge come in there and hollered my name. He said, "You got everything all the way?" And I was like, "Yes, sir." He said, "You got your pillow?" And I was like, "Well, my roommate just got in the hole last night." I said, "He ain't had no pillow, so I just left him the pillow." The man gonna try to give me a hard time about the pillow. Sergeant Lewis, he was cool as a fan, but I ran back and got the pillow. Got up there and it was surreal, man. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to feel. I didn't even think it was real. So we get the ID, and I'm trying to cuff my little chain gang ID, and she's telling me that, Lieutenant telling me that she can't release me until I produce that ID. I said, "Now I got it, but I ain't trying to give it up because I'm trying to hold on to it." And she goes, I said, "Man, I ain't got it." And she ended up cutting me a break, wrote me a little check for $10, and we go out, we walk me out the gate. Now I'm looking where she's at, you know. Well, I seen her start pulling up, so I'm shook now. I had a brown paper bag full of mail and pictures and whatnot. Wasn't even in my right mind. I strapped that bag of stuff in with the seatbelt in the back seat of the car. I just didn't know what to do. So we got in the car and I gave her a hug and I just didn't know what to say. She's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm all right." So we got up to the road, walked this road, got up to the main road up there, and I just started crying. I got to get out. Just give me a minute, man. So I shook it off and started going down the road. And out of all things that could have happened, this rock hit the windshield and busted the windshield. I was like, "Oh my God." And she says, "Ain't nothing happened to this car." And all the time I had it. And I said, "So now I feel bad, So she's like, "You want to call everybody and let them know you're coming?" I'm like, "Yeah." So she gave me a phone. And mind you, when I went to prison, there wasn't no touch screen, nothing. Phone I had in prison was a click 3 times to get to the T, and however you want to say that. But, I'm like, I'm just looking at the phone. She said, "Tell me, all you got to do is touch it." So I touched it, and I called my brother, and my dad, and my brother, and my grandma, and my cousins, and all them was over at the house. So my son didn't know. He had an idea, but he didn't really know. So we went there first and surprised him. We ate. And had some pictures made because he was playing soccer. We went home, and I seen my family, and it just kind of made me mad a little bit. All them years I've been gone here, hardly nothing from none of y'all. But when I come home, I'm a shining light. So I was angry, sour. But I'm going to fast forward a little bit, y'all, because I know I'm getting close, pushing an hour here. So I ended up getting back on drugs. This potential relationship that I had with this female, my son's mama, I just completely destroyed it, just like I've destroyed every other relationship that I've had. And mind you, I've skipped over a lot of things. I just don't want to bore you with the stories. I just try to tell you the most entertaining ones. But during this whole time, nothing was on my mind. I just wanted to get high. And the whole time I was in prison, if I ran across some crack, I did it. And weed wasn't a problem. I smoked nearby every single day. I shot crack in prison, smoked crack, did meth, whatever I could. If it was there and I could get it, I got it. And mind you, let me tell you that I'm not gay by no means whatsoever. So the relationship that me and Mark have, for those of you that might be thinking something that don't know who I am, that was nothing like that. He's a very solid guy. He's not gay. I'm not gay. Nothing like that never went on with me while I was there. But I just wanted to say that. But I got back involved in drugs and stealing whatever I could. So this is 2012. 2013, I go back to RSAT, did 6 months. 2014, I've been locked up in and out ever since. County jail. Haven't been back to prison. I've been to RSAT 2 times, PDC 4 times on a 60-day sentence. But it was all behind drugs. I've been an addict all my life. In 2015, this is when things started changing in my life. I went to the Battle Rescue Mission in Columbus. And it's kind of work like the military. You get through this little park, and they send you to a place called Crossroads, a mansion, and they take care of you. Well, I hooked up with some people that were doing community service at the warehouse, started smoking weed, and I got kicked out. But while I was there, I took a class from Andy Stanley online in the chapel that they had, and I've been saved, you know, after the fact of me being in California and just wanting to be how my dad was and claiming that I was saved. I wasn't, but I ended up getting saved. I was saved at this point, and things just were different. I didn't want to be how I had been, but I went back out and I got high. I just wasn't quite as bad as I used to be. I had got a little older and maybe a little more mature. So let's go forward to 2017. The guy that I had gotten in trouble with robbing the store, me and his sister actually had got together and went through a whole bunch of crap in our relationship. We ended up splitting up. I went and got with another lady, and I was just so tired of being what I was. I just felt like I was a scum of the earth, and I didn't want to be that way no more. I wanted to change. I wanted to be over, and I didn't have nowhere to go. So I went to my grandparents. You know, they're not happy with me. My grandfather hated me because I had stolen from him. I went, and my grandma hid me out in the camper that she had bought me. She never told me it was mine up until that point, but she hid me out in there for about a week before she told me. Well, ultimately, I ended up getting a job and saved a little money. And me and that lady ended up getting back together, and I was using dope the whole time, but I was working, I was saving money. She wigged out one night and thought that the police were coming to get her, so we leave. And I believe with all my heart that I got set up that night. I don't know for what purpose or what cause, but it's all for the good. We got pulled over, I had warrants, I went to jail. So I'm going back to prison now, no doubt. I'm on probation for dope, I got caught some more dope, I'm going to prison. Well, when I got out of prison, my best friend was with my wife that I'm married to now. This is when I met her. So when I go to jail in 2018, a guy that had been friends with her all her life was there, and we had gotten talking about her, and I asked him to ask her, could I call her? She came to see him, and I was running around on the 5th floor, and she come to see him, and you could see the visitation there, so I kind of waved at her and asked her, could I call her? And she was like, yeah, so I did, and upon me not asking anything, I don't know what to say, she just believed in her heart, or God told her, or however it happened. She went and retained a lawyer, and I ended up getting back in drug court. I'm the first person in the county I know that's ever been accepted in that program 2 times. So I get out, and at the time I felt like I owed her something because of what she did. I don't really know her, she didn't really know me, but I don't know what to say. Maybe one day we can let you tell her what happened with all that. I had to stay clean. There was no questions about it. And I was like, I can't get high. Not only because I don't want to go back, but I can't do this to her. I can't do it. Well, stay clean for a year and a half. And it just got to where I was like, man, I done got my license back. We done got a car. I got a dog. We got money. Something I ain't never had in my entire life. I got married. I've been married one time before, but I did it because I thought I seen grass greener on the other side. But this was different. We had a wedding at our house, several people there. But as time went along, you know, I just about ready to graduate this program, and I just felt like I deserved to get high, so I did. And I got away with it. So I was like, well, if I got away with it one time, I get away with it again, I did. But the 3rd time, it didn't work that way. They sent me to a rehab in Sandy Springs. I got up there and I was very angry because of what this place was. I ain't even gonna elaborate on it, but I hate it. But I ended up getting a good job with a guy. This guy hired me over a text message, paid me $18 an hour, and I worked all week, kept on track with my own hours. Long story short, one Friday I'm coming home to go spend a weekend with my wife, and I stopped by and got me a sack and never made it home. This happened 2 weekends in a row. Long story short, he kicks me out. Drug court told me to report on a Monday. I report on a Monday. They locked me up. This was December the 3rd of 2019. Stayed in county jail till March the 10th. I went to turn an RSAT. Oh my goodness, if you know about it and you know what I'm talking about. But COVID changed everything down there. It was a 250-man camp. Ended up getting out with 49 people in there. I got tested for COVID 2 times, passed both times, wasn't positive, but I was very sick. And it was just like a dream. That time went by so quick. It was like boom, I was in, boom, I was out. My wife come pick me up, and we went home, and we ended up running into some problems because I made a decision to cheat on her, and she asked me to leave, so I left. With no intentions on getting high, I just did what she asked, and I went to my brother's. He's a doctor. You know, he's fine. He was going through a divorce at the time. He'd been an alcoholic once upon a time, but he stopped, so I'm there. I'm good. I had got our old car. I was driving it back around. I got a job. And on New Year's Eve, I didn't want to be at home. I wanted to go do something. So I went and seen my cousin and his wife. And then getting drunk. And it just wasn't I'm going to get high. So I ended up calling an Uber, and I went to see my real dad at this motel, and I took off from there. January the 6th, 2020, 2021, I stopped going to drug court, and I got high. I'd been in the motel room for about 2 months shooting dope, and I just thought I need to go home. It's not what marriage is about. It's not what I'm supposed to be doing, so I went home. And my wife has been clean for 6 years, and she kind of felt, I guess, that the only way that she could keep me around was if she did some dope, because she knew I would. So ultimately, that's what we did for a good 5-6 weeks or so. And finally, when I slowed down enough one day, I don't remember what day it was, but hey, we can't do this. We got to do something. We finna lose everything we got if we don't do something about this. So we started talking to this guy named Ross Clapper. I've shouted out to Ross before. I actually seen the picture on Facebook the other day, man. You don't look nothing like I thought you did. You don't look bad, I'm just saying. Again, I'd like to thank you right now, man, because you started the ball rolling and my life changing. But we talked to him for about 3 weeks. I was remodeling the floor in our home. I laid in the floor, and I took my time, customized everything. Just one day, I said, it's time to go, man. So we ended up going to detox in Sunrise, and out for 7 days. We left there and went to Chattanooga, Tennessee. Now, mind you, I'm on probation and I'm on drug court. I got 2 warrants out from our list. So we go. Pulling in the parking lot. I called the people, and the director that was over the program the whole time I was there had actually got another job. So now there's a new one. I don't know who she is. So I'm talking to her and telling her what I'm fixing to do. And she told me to turn around and call myself in. And I told her she had lost her mind. That there was no possible way that I was going to do that. For me to go ahead and finish the program since you're there, and we'll come handle your business when you're done. So 17 days later, I get a letter saying that they made a team decision to keep me out of drug court. I retained a lawyer. Got the court date put off. The next month, the judge put it off. 3rd month, I had to go, which was June the 12th of this year. As soon as I walked in there, he locked me up. So I don't know what's going to happen, but by the grace of God, we found a place in Atlanta, actually where I am right now, and God does what He does. He touched the judge, touched my lawyer, touched everybody involved. These people here, Malaysia, everybody that was involved. I thank God for the opportunity, but this pretty much completes everything. But I just want the addict to see and know that, it's a choice that you got to make. And all the time, it was a full-time job for me to wake up every day, or maybe not wake up every day, maybe 3 or 4 days when I went to sleep, to know that I'm going to get up and it's going to be a task for me to go find something to do to get some money, get some dough. You know, I put all that energy now into my diet. I actually just started yesterday counting calories. It's a very, it's a task to do. But I got some before and after pictures. I've been saying this. I'm gonna put them on there so you can see what I used to look like, see what I look like now. And it's quite as big as I'm gonna get, but I'm gonna get there, and I'm gonna keep y'all updated on this. You know, there's a lot more. I skip around a lot. I just try to keep on track as best I can. You know, my mind races a whole lot. There's so much more I want to say, but for the most part, it's been my life. This is where I'm at now, and I'm still in recovery. I'm still clean. I thank God for blessing me and giving me the people that He's put in my life to help me. I'd like to thank my dad. I thank my real father also. I love him because he's my father, but Bobby Patchett, I love you, man. Thank you for raising me how you did. I know you meant the best for me throughout everything, and I don't hate you now, man. I love you. I thank everybody that's subscribed, and I thank everybody that watches. Now, I actually ran out of t-shirts, so for those of you that, oh my God, I subscribed and I didn't get one, I begged you and begged you and begged you to get in touch with me. But I'm going to get some more made, so if you want that shirt, you contact me, I will get you the shirt. Yeah, I mean, I hope some kind of way, somewhere along the line, my story touches you. Does it inspire you to change your life? If I could reach one person, that'd be my goal. If you need some help, you get in touch with me. I'll talk to you all night long if I got to. If you want to get in treatment somewhere, just let me know. I'll do everything I can to help you out. Thanks, bye.